So I'm a social worker. I started my social work career as a child welfare worker, so I got to see what quote unquote parents do to the children they quote unquote love. Um, I'm also a parent, so I'm a lot of things. I won't list them off, but I'm a licensed social worker with the state. I am also a parent. I am a lover of people, and so when I saw parents in the predicaments that they were in with their children, it caused me very frequently to go home and just love on my kids the more. I'm a very affectionate person. I'm a very emotive person. But when I had to pick up a 6-month-old from their mother's house, and take them somewhere that they weren't familiar with, because their mother was going to be in custody for what they did to the baby, or pick up a 12-year-old who was sexually molested by their father or whatever, I would go home and expound on how I loved my children. And they were often, "Oh, mommy, we know you love us. Can we just have dinner?" And I would explain to them, this is why I come home like this. This is why I work late. This is why mommy has to go pick up the child on Saturday. This is why I can't be with you. This is why I can't, because these other parents couldn't. So the time that I was able to spend with my children were usually filled with lots of hugs and kisses and explanations. So I'm also a disciplinarian, so we have to set things very straight in my house. Because while I see a set of people behaving in a way that is harmful to vulnerable people, I'm also realizing that I'm in a position to either help or harm. So now I am a social worker in the public defender's office. I work largely with adults who overwhelmingly come from the place that I left. They have this they that's overgeneralizing. So many of them come from a place where their quote unquote parents quote unquote loved them. And we have these conversations about where they came from, why they're talking to me, why they have a public defender, why this is their 7th case, why they use the drugs, why they sell the drugs, why they sell their bodies, why they steal the purses, why they take the cars, why they take the life. And so I go home and I talk to my kids and explain to them why it's important to talk to me about what's going on with them, why it's important for them to talk to anybody, why it's important not to catch a felony. Because I can't imagine my son, excuse me, I said I was emotional, so, or emotive. My son is 18 years old, and thankfully he's never been in trouble, or any real trouble. I think that's largely because we had the conversations that we have at home. I've seen the 12-year-old stay in detention and then get out of detention and then catch an adult case and then go to prison and then get out of prison and then go to prison and have nothing to come home to. Our daughter is 19, and thankfully she's never been in trouble. But I've talked to her about how not to allow a conversation by somebody else influence her decisions. Our children routinely have told, or frequently have told me that they didn't want to hear the stories, but I said, you have to. You don't come from a place where you don't have options. You have options. You don't come from a place where your quote unquote parents are relying on you to validate them or to make them feel a particular way, or to make them feel loved, or to make them feel sexy, or to make them feel anything. You make me feel proud. That's what I want you to do. I want you to have a life. I want you to be able to live a life. So for a long time, I didn't think it was trauma. I thought it was work and me trying to be a parent. So the work that I have done and the work that I do, I take home in a way that I thought was helpful, but it's heavy. My work now, I am so fortunate I get to sit in rooms with people who I know will never get to hold their babies, and I do. I get to go home. I talk with men and women who share horrific stories with me. So I'm their vessel for storing their secrets, but then I have their secrets, and I have to, for me, figure out how to continue to walk in this space and honor their secret while still taking it as a lesson. So I'm fortunate to have learned a lot of lessons, and I take those lessons home. But it's heavy. Like, I don't know how to help you through your molestation or your abandonment or your fear or your abuse or just your life. A lot of the people I work with don't see their lives as trauma. They just see it as they woke up that morning and they got a whipping that morning and they went to school that morning and they didn't have breakfast that morning and they went home. They just see that as life. And I'm in a position to walk them through how that might have led them to talking to me. But that's still heavy. It's such a blessing to be able to sit across from somebody who knows that for the rest of their days, the rest of their breaths on earth will be owed to the Department of Corrections or owed to somebody, and they don't have full autonomy over their being, but they are resolved to not let it defeat them. So that's the strength, right? To not let it overtake them every day. That's the strength. And then to trust me, because I am nobody. To trust me with their secrets. To trust me with their pain, to trust me with their dreams and their hopes and their desires for their children who they know they will never see. And so I carry it, and it's heavy, but I carry it with as much grace and honor as I possibly can because they deserve it. Because they deserve it. The people that they hurt, they're victims, but the people that I work with are victims too. Hurt people hurt people. We hear this a lot. Hurt people hurt people. And my hurt people have hurt people, and they acknowledge that. But it's a weight, and it's a weight that I'm honored to carry.